you'll need 2 yoga blocks, or at least 1 yoga block, I guess, and then a strap. If you have a yoga strap, that's the best. And the first setup is the block between your thighs, kind of right between the knees, and the strap goes over the block. And I like to put the strap right around my knees and the block, so it's in this position, and I've got the strap cinched down, just like that. Okay, so if everyone could set that up first, we'll get started here. All right. And the first thing, we're working with the hips today and stabilizing the hips. And we're gonna start by stabilizing the pelvis. So this, all this beginning stuff is like a little stabilization sort of reset for your SI joint. So there's the setup again. Okay. So block between the legs in the medium setting, and then strap around the block. So there we go. Okay. And one of the things that I've been thinking about as I've been quarantined with COVID, and my pace like got very, very slow, which is kind of hard for me, is that we're really kind of always looking for our own inner rhythm, our own pace in our lives. And I have to fight both extremes, going too slow or having not enough to do, I guess, and then being pulled forward and feeling like I'm in a hurry, because I don't like feeling like I'm in a hurry. So this first part is quite slow and deliberate, and it might not feel as though you're doing a lot, but beginning on your back with that setup with the block, just allow yourself to take a pause. So instead of filling more and more and more and more, take a pause. Even when we have a lot going on, taking this pause is super valuable. So eyes are closed, bringing your awareness into the felt sense in your body and out of your thinking mind. We'll start with the keystone of the architecture of the lower body, the pelvis, the sacrum. So we're going to just reset the SI joint, and here just squeeze the block and then release, and squeeze the block and release. And you won't even see another person doing this. You won't see me doing this. I squeeze the block and release, and it's 20% effort, 30% effort. I squeeze the block and release. And maybe I'm going to do that 12 times. Just squeezing the block between my knees, releasing, not overdoing it, not being pulled and forward and feeling like I'm in a hurry, just squeezing the block and releasing. And then once I've gotten 12 or so reps, I'm going to now press out against the strap with my knees and release. Press out against the strap and release. So same thing, I'm not overdoing it. I'm just pressing out against the strap and releasing. Yep. And now I'm going to go back and forth. Squeeze the block, press out against the strap, squeeze the block, Press out against the strap. Squeeze the block. Press out against the strap. Back and forth. And just find a nice rhythm. A nice pace. Trusting the process, so not feeling like you're in a hurry. Good. Then from there, we just slip the belt off, keep it close by, you slip it off the block. Take the block now in the narrowest setting between your knees. Take your feet together, squeeze the block lightly, and then move back and forth with your knees. One hip picks up, opposite hip picks up. And again, you find a pace that feels supportive. So we're resetting pelvis, SI joint, supporting the whole pelvic girdle here and the muscles that work both the inner thighs, the outer hips, the hip flexors. We're working all these muscles in one way or another. So now we stop that and we take the block in the widest setting between the knees, feet together, and rock the hips back and forth. Squeezing the block lightly and moving the knees side to side. Okay. And then we take the block over to the side, and we take the strap around the whole thing around up to the knees and the hips. You know, the feet are about hip distance apart. So there's my strap set up. And I'm going to bring my feet together again. Feet together inside the edge of the feet, and I'm going to press out against the strap and move side to side. Back and forth. A lot of our practice, I think, is about really trusting that taking this time for practice is going to be of benefit to us later on in the day, the week, the rest of our lives. So always apprenticing ourselves to our future selves, body, mind, spirit. Good. Then we take the strap and we just come around the lower legs. Okay. You can adjust your strap so that the feet, knees are about hip distance apart. So now the strap is just here along the lower legs. And we got to press out against the strap and lift into a small bridge and then lower back down. And press out against the strap and lift and lower back down. So now warming up the spine as we also continue to work in the glutes. So squeezing the glutes as you lift. And squeezing the glutes as you lift. Great. And your pace is your pace. So you might do, it might be 6 rounds for you. There might be 16 rounds for you. See if you can keep your movement contained in your breath and, going to a point of sort of sensational fatigue, right? So doing whatever amount gives you some good sensation, then moving the strap down to your ankles. Same thing, you're going to pull the strap apart as you lift into a small bridge and lower. Pulling the strap apart isometrically, feet are of course on the floor, and we pull the strap apart and lift. Notice if you feel yourself being pulled forward in time traveling, and see if you can just be here now with this thing. Again, once you start to feel a lot of sensation in the outer hips, then you can take the strap over to the side. You're going to need it again shortly, but take it over to the side, stretch your legs long, and now integrate. 2 breaths. This is the part we tend to skip in all of our experiences. Letting it settle, letting it make a difference. All right, so body in the Shavasana shape with the palms up and heels in the floor, nice and secure. Just rock the feet. Rock the feet. Again, it's not a big movement, it's just allowing for some pulsation through the body and a settling of the central nervous system. Release. Okay. Good. Now, soles of feet to the floor and feet nice and wide, just a few windshield wipers back and forth. Get a little bit bigger movement going here. Okay, continuing, we're going to continue working in hips. So we're going to take the strap. You have the loop in the strap, and we'll take that around the right foot. And the left leg could be long or bent. And you're going to really use the strap to help you here. And you're going to start to just make some big circles with your right leg, as if you're drawing a big circle on the ceiling. Big circles in one direction. And you might be letting the strap slip through your hands and pulling it back in. If you can find a nice rhythm with this. And then switch directions. Switch directions. And now in this opposite direction, start to slow down or make the circles smaller on the ceiling. Gradually smaller. Until you're just making the tiniest circle above your head on the ceiling. Tiniest circle. And you're almost in some stillness. Yeah, your leg might be at perpendicular like mine, or it might, be out here a ways, depending on the availability in your hamstrings. Good. And then you come into some stillness. Now bring your right leg out to the right, either resting on a block or holding with your strap, but feel your inner leg, your inner hamstring, getting a bit of a stretch there. Left hip, doesn't have to be plastered to the floor. You might be up a little ways, but for the most part, pelvis level, hip pointers level. And then inhale, bring right leg up and over, come into a twist. Come into a twist. Yep. Again, patience with the process. And then inhale, bring the right leg up and do a little switcheroo. So left leg comes into the strap, right leg either bent or long, kind of depends on your low back, and then start to circle, big circles. Big circles. Strap supporting us here, helping us find this nice motion. See if you can close your eyes and really find a rhythm with this movement. Reverse the direction. Being just aware too of how one direction might feel different than the other. Of course, one leg might feel different, and then start to slow down or make the circles a bit smaller. The circling a bit smaller. The circling a bit smaller. And these smaller movements are a lot harder for us to do. It takes a lot more mindfulness. And you come almost to some stillness. There it is. And then left leg out to the left. Again, you could just be holding onto the strap tightly to kind of find the best engagement over there to the left, or you might have your leg resting on a block, whatever works in your body. But see if you can let gravity be your friend here. Just let the leg be open to the floor. And then we inhale up and over, come into a twist in the opposite side. For 3, 2, and 1. Good. And slide your foot out of the strap. And now let's come on to one side. One side. You could rest your your head on your bottom outstretched arm, or you could bend your elbow and rest your head on your hand. And we'll bring our knees not quite out to perpendicular, but about 45 degrees, stacking the knees, stacking the feet, and we'll just open that top leg and close towards the bottom leg, but not go all the way to the bottom leg. So we call these clamshells. And here we go. We'll do a series. Again, if you get going too quickly, it's more momentum rather than this mindful engagement of the outer hip. So can you slow this down and really feel the work in your outer hip? Somewhere in the vicinity of 12 to 20 reps. Until you start to feel some good sensation in the outer hip. And then we can hold that top leg up. And maybe you can bring the bottom leg up towards the top leg It's pretty hard. You might have to put your hand out in front just to give you a little stability. Bring the bottom leg up to meet the top leg. Ooh, yeah. There we go. And then release that leg, straighten the top leg so that it's just stacked over the bottom leg, toes back towards shins, and then just wipe the slate clean. So straight up, try not to swing that top leg, but just come straight up and down with the top leg. You're gonna feel this in your outer hip. All right. Then we'll take the top foot. And let's get a little stretch on the front of the thigh. Now, for some of us, you might be able to extend that leg again and just sort of rest it behind us, opening up through hip flexor. There we go. Great release. Swing it over to the other side. Again, you can rest on the outstretched arm, or you can rest in your hand. Bring your knees to 45 degrees relative to your torso, and just begin with the top leg. And of course, you're going to find one side, we're pretty asymmetrical in our bodies based on what we've been doing with our bodies for the last X amount of years, right? So clam shells here on this side, going for a little bit of fatigue. And if you wanted to, you could even give yourself a little isometric work, a little harder, like take that top hand against your thigh and press. A little resistance, yep. And then we hold the top leg, bring the bottom leg up to meet the top leg. Ooh. Bottom leg rests on the ground. Take the top leg and stretch it out so that it's hovering right over the bottom leg in the same angle. And bring your toes back towards your shins. And then we sweep the leg up. And if you don't feel this in your outer hip, I'm not sure about you. Good work. Working the glutes. So, we tend to lose these big muscles as we get older. And we need them for walking, hiking, dancing, cycling, standing. We really need to have these hip muscles, butt muscles. You ever see a really old person with absolutely no butt? They've lost all these hip stability, these stabilizing muscles. Good. Then we can take the top foot. It's almost like, we sit them out of our bodies. So we want to be really keeping these muscles engaged and strong for all the activities that we do. Okay. And for 3, 2, and 1, then we can take that top leg behind our bodies. Feel a stretch here in the hip flexor. Good. All right. And then just momentarily, we roll onto our back. We're going to get a little relief with a figure 4. So either foot onto the opposite knee, and then just bring your knees in towards your chest, just a little back and forth, wiggle waggle. That's it. Switch it up. Switch it up. Okay. And then from here, let's roll to our bellies. Roll into your belly. Okay, rolling onto your bellies and finding, make a little pillow with your hands, tops of the feet to the ground, really resting here, pressing into both hands into the floor. And just inhale here and just lift into a very small back bend, and feel your back muscles engaged. You're going to feel your glutes start to engage, right? And then lower back down. And then just repeat that a few times. Draw your navel up and in, away from the floor. Cool. Good. And then the next time you lift your upper body, just bring both legs up off the floor. Squeeze your buttocks. And then bring the feet together as much as possible and lower everything down. Separate your feet. Inhale, press into your arms, lift your head and shoulders, lift the legs, squeeze the legs together, try to get your whole leg squeezed together, and then lower your head and shoulders. Open your legs back up. Inhale, press into your forearms and lift head and shoulders. Lift your legs, squeezing the buttocks, and then draw your legs together and lower everything back down. Try that a couple more times. So start with the feet wide. Inhale, press into your arms and lift. Then lift the legs. Then squeeze the legs towards one another, and then lower back down. Great. The next time you come back down to the floor, rest on your little hand pillow, bend your knees, and just windshield wiper softly the feet back and forth. Good. Okay. And then let's go one leg at a time. So you'll inhale the right leg up and set it down. And inhale the left leg up and set it down. And right leg and left leg. Good. Now bend your right knee, and the sole of your foot is reaching up towards the ceiling. I'm just lifting my head to speak to you, but you're going to have your head resting on your hand pillow, and then press your right foot up towards the ceiling and lower back down. And repeat. And repeat. And repeat. Then right leg goes straight, bend the left leg, sole of the foot up towards the ceiling, so your left knee is bent, and then you're going to kind of take your sole of your foot straight up towards the ceiling, lift your knee off the floor, and then back down. The last one. And then take the legs wide, bend your knees, and let your feet rock back and forth. Let your hips just go back and forth loosely here. while you're on your belly. And then slide your hands underneath your shoulders, press yourself up, come to all fours, reach your hips back towards your heels, and then just swing hips right and left. And then start to make some circles. Going in one direction, in the opposite direction. You might hear some clicking and popping. Okay, and then knees underneath hips and hands a little forward of the shoulders. We'll start with, it doesn't matter, start with either leg and bring that knee out to the side. Straighten the leg out there, sweep it around behind you, and then bring it into your chest. Bring your knee out to the side, straighten the leg, sweep it around behind you, and bring it back into your chest. So essentially, you're circling the leg. Do the hip. Then reverse that. So leg out behind you, out to the side, bend and come in. And you're going to feel this eventually in the hip of the, you're really going to feel this in the hip of the leg that's on the touching the floor. So now next time you straighten that leg out, drop the top of your foot to the floor, slide, 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 and slide your other leg forward and come into a pigeon shape. So you get a little relief on that other hip. Yep. Good. Then we come back to center or to all fours. Take a couple cat-cows. Right. And here we go, other side. So bending the knee, taking it out to the side, straighten the leg. Whoops, I gotta move away from the furniture. Bring it out, or bring it back and around. Forgot what direction I was going. Bend the knee out to the side, behind, and swing it around. Reverse the direction. Whew. And eventually you're going to feel that in the other hips. So next time you extend the leg out, touch down, slide that leg back, slide the other leg forward, and come into a pigeon shape. Let everything settle as much as possible. And then from here, just rock onto that hip and come up to a seat in either Sukhasana or this fire log pose. Find equal sitting, right and left sit bone. And then this may be where you are in your hips. This may be enough of the outer stretch. If you can come forward here, come forward. Coming forward. Letting gravity do its good work. Yeah, good. Then we change the cross of the legs. And again, I'll turn sideways so you can see, you know, if I can get my ankles underneath my knees more, like so. Not the true stacking yet, but here we go. more of a square situation with my legs. And I feel the equal weight side to side, and then I just sit forward or lean forward. Outer hips, outer hips. For 3, 2, 1. Unfolding the legs, coming back to all fours. Take a cow. Turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Should feel nice to come into downward dog now. Bend your knees, set the sit bones up, 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 and turn the triceps down towards the floor. Take a few rounds of breath here in this downward dog. Then inhale to walk your feet up towards your hands. Set your hips back towards your heels. Reach the arms forward. So you're in a deep chair pose. And then press up to standing Tadasana. Press up to standing Tadasana. Great. Okay, let's take right foot forward, left foot back. And as you bend into your front knee, press into your back heel, inhale the arms up. So we've got 0, 1 here. Draw the low ribs into the back body space. Draw the navel up and in. Inhale to reach fingertips. And on your exhale, just rock yourself forward, come up onto your back big toe. And then inhale, set your hips back, reach the arms back up. Exhale, hinge forward, maybe release the back foot slightly. Front leg is bent. You're using your stabilizers here to hold yourself in this little balance pose. Then draw the hips back as you step back. Reach arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward. Maybe straighten the leg a little bit more. Lift the back leg a little bit more. Inhale, bend through the front knee as you step back. Into the warrior 1 again. Inhaling the arms up. And then hinging forward. Exhale. Hinge. Sweep the back leg up. Then inhale to come back. So I'm just going to go back and forth with that a few times. And you decide how much you lift that back leg each time. Now, just because I happen to have a piece of furniture here in front of me, if you want to use the furniture, you can, because we're really working on the strength of the outer hip, not necessarily balance, although that work in balancing, right, it makes the hip work in a different way. So you decide as you move back and forth. The next time you land in the warrior 1, stay there, draw the front ribs into the back body space, and hold for 3, 2, 1. And then on your next inhale, step forward into Tadasana. Bounce your heels. Bounce your heels. Reset central nervous system. And then we take the other side. So left foot comes forward, right foot is back. As you bend into the front knee, back heel sets into the floor firmly, and the arms come up. On the exhale, you simply hinge forward, and your toe keeps in contact with the back toe keeps in contact with the floor. And then inhale. Exhale, maybe rock a little bit more, back leg lifts a little bit. This side might be different. It takes some stability of the outer hip to set yourself back into that warrior one shape, okay? So we move back and forth with this. Find your rhythm, take your time. Using wall space, furniture, if the balance is an issue, doesn't need to be an issue, really working to strengthen the outer hip. And the last time you land in the warrior one on this side, draw your lower ribs back into your back body space. Lift your collarbones and hold here for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, float the arms down. Tadasana. Bounce your heels. Bounce your heels. Bounce your heels. Release. Shake your legs, shake your legs. Okay, you're going to need a block now. And we're going to do a little eagle with the block. So bring the block beside your left foot. Set the block beside your left foot. Bend through your knees and wrap the right leg over the left leg and just set your right foot on the block. Squeeze the squeeze the legs. Rest your right foot on the block. Squeeze your legs really tightly here. And bring your right arm just underneath your left arm and give yourself a hug. Squeeze your legs. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Squeeze your legs. Length through your spine. So think about the collarbones being lifted, even though we're giving ourselves a hug here. Collarbones are lifted. Squeeze the legs. Good. Unwind. And then just step onto the block with the right foot and let the left leg swing free. Use anything for balance if you need to. Good. Now the block goes beside your right foot. Bend through the knees. Bring your left leg over your right. Set your left foot on the block. Squeeze the legs together. Squeeze them. Squeeze them together. Like you're trying to get absolutely no space between the legs. Then left arm underneath right. A little hug. Squeeze, 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 squeeze the legs, squeeze the legs. Standing leg is bent. You could go a little deeper if you wanted to. Squeeze the legs together. Squeeze and squeeze. And squeeze and squeeze and squeeze a little bit more, like you're trying to get all the juice out of the lemon. Or the lime, or the orange. Unwind. And step your left foot on the block now. And let the right leg swing free. Nice, good. Okay. Shake your legs. Bounce your heels. Bounce your heels. This is the reset. This is the reset. Okay. This is going to help the central nervous system kind of reset. No, just move my mat out of the way here. Now you're gonna need your 2 blocks, or alternatively a chair. And I'm setting my blocks like so. All right. Like so, and we're gonna do some deep chair work onto the blocks. Deep chair work. So you could have a chair as well. All right, so as I inhale, I'm going to come down and set my booty on the blocks. I keep my hands forward to find the strength to press up. Okay. And if you get dizzy with this, just take your time, go a little slower, or don't go quite as deep. I inhale, the arms out in front. I set my hips to the block, and then I keep my arms out in front as I press up to standing. Inhale, sweep the arms forward, come down. Exhale, press up to standing. Okay, you could also do this on the edge of a chair. All right, you could just pretend you get a chair behind you, don't go quite as deep, and press up. All right, lots of options here. Lots of options here. Building these outer hip muscles. The next time you set down, let's have everybody go right to the blocks. Right to the blocks. So you're in a big squat, big open squat. And then just pressing your legs apart and pressing back with the legs. Feel that inner work here. Okay, and if it works in your body now, lift up, take 1 block out, and come into a squat like so. So, deeper squat, pressing arms into legs, legs into arms. Take a few rounds of breath. Okay. If this works for you, come off the block, pressing legs into arms, arms into legs. Holding this deep, really deep opening here with the squat. Good. And then if you're sitting on a block, remove the block. If you're in the squat, just allow yourself to come down to the floor. Just going to set my space up again. Come down to the floor, sitting on your booty. Good. And now we take the legs into Baddha Konasana, either with some support underneath the thighs, or you might be someone who can actually go a little deeper with this, with the block here, squeezing the block between your feet, or just pressing the feet together. Other option would be to open the feet like a book. Hands are behind. Good. And 3, 2, 4. Good. Then reach your body back, pick up the legs, and turn your knees in one direction. And then the other direction. As you do this, draw the your pelvis back in space. Draw your sit bones back So as I go to the left, say I draw my right sit bone back. And as I go to the left, I draw my, to the right, I draw my left sit bone back. So knees to the left, draw the right sit bone back. Knees to the right, draw the left sit bone back. Back and forth with that. Welcome to bring the hands in front. A little core work, but this works just fine. Movement in the hips. Good. Then come back to center, and now we take the front thigh, the front lower leg parallel to the long edge of our mat, and we stack the other leg on top. Block can come in between the ankle and the knee. If this is not happening in your body, go to Sukhasana, same thing that we did before. But if you're able to make this work, now we lean forward slightly until you feel this work in your outer hip. Yeah. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come up to sit, and then try the other side. You might find the other side, you get a little closer. I can't quite get mine stacked, so I'm going to take the block underneath that, bringing my toes back towards my shins. I keep an engagement in my lower leg, and then come forward. This eccentric work in the hips, outer hips. Noticing any disruption in your rhythm. Can you find your rhythm? And even when we seem to be still, there's still movement. So moving at a rhythm that works for you, at a pace that works for you. For 3, 2, 1. Good. Then we unwind the legs. Take your legs out. Shake them. Roll onto your back once again. Soles of the feet to the floor. We come back to this more relaxed or still place with the same intention as we started the practice. So you could start with some windshield wipers. Maybe one leg only. Got a broken windshield wiper on the other side. It allows you to just really feel into one side of your low back and your pelvis, and then you do the other side. Again, notice if you're in a hurry. Slow the hurry. There's nothing better than this moment, trust me. This one is the one we're living. So now take the legs long. Might shake the feet back and forth. I press the heels into the floor, toes back and forth. So just settling central nervous system. Big deep breath. And now here's a really important part of our practice, and that's to integrate everything into the body, into the mind with the Shavasana. So just allow yourself this time, this is gift here, to let things shift and change in your body. Legs are heavy. Arms alongside the body. Let your muscles in your face really relax here. Let them go. Particularly around your eyes. The mental grasping. Let that mental grasping go. Soften the lines around your mouth. Soften your inner ear. A different kind of listening. The breath is steady, relaxed. All right. Just take your time to do whatever you need to come back into a different rhythm for the rest of your day. So if you need to stay in Shavasana for a bit longer, that's option one always. And if you're ready to start to move again, invite some small movements into your body. Maybe eventually coming back to a seat. And coming together in a community Om. We'll bring hands together in front of the heart center. And inhale to open mouth, exhale. And inhale to Om. Namaste. May you find your own rhythm today.